Welcome to a beautiful morning. Chilly out here at the river house. It is a balmy 14 degrees, up from 12 back in town, so that's cool. As long as everything runs, I want to get the dump truck started and the excavator, and there's a bunch of rock up on top. It's not quite in the way, but it's also not in the way. But it's small, it's pretty cruddy. It's the pieces that they ripped up with their big excavators or big ripper tooth dozers. And I want to truck a whole bunch of it down near the rock crusher because I know that I'm going to need a big pile of crushed rock as we start doing foundation work. And, just all the mud around here. Big pile of crushed rock. That stuff's small, feeds into the rock crusher pretty nice. Very little resale value to it. The edges, that doesn't have square faces, everything's all angly and trapezoidy, and so I'm just going to make a big old stockpile down there. The problem, of course, is that we have got some snow on the ground. It doesn't amount to much, but, it doesn't take much to cripple an empty dump truck. Now, in a bunch of crap I bought at an auction years ago, I have some tire chains, and I have one set of 3 rails. I suspect they're for a much larger semi-tire than what's on the dump truck, but whatever. I got a grinder, I'll cut them down. And then I have 3-4 sets of, 235/16 chains, and I need more of those, like extra holes in my head. So what I kind of thought I would do, if I had to, and I'm pretty sure I will, but I don't want to, I would throw this set of 3 rails on one side of the dump truck, and then take the 235/16s and literally weld the end of one to the beginning of another, and then cut off the extra, and I would basically independently chain inside and outside duals. And then she ought to get around fine after that. I also moved the old Willie's Jeep, and I have smoothed out the bottom of that driveway where that real steep corner is. It's not even remotely close to finished, but it's a lot better than it was, and there's a lot more room to swing out and around. So that'll help the dump truck, because you don't want to twist them up too bad. If all of that is a dismal failure, I don't know, I'll go pick up inside. Oh, and I brought fuel for the rock crusher because the stuff that's in it is a summer blend, and so it's probably not going to go through the fuel filters. So I've got some winter mixed diesel, and it's still warm from coming directly out of the tanks. So I thought the first thing I would do up here is I would pour it in there and hopefully let everything mix. I'm not super confident I can get the rock crusher started, so we'll have to see on that. And I really should have brought the battery charger, but I forgot. So yeah, welcome to the river house. Okay, so that's done. I got the fire lit inside the house. Not that I'll spend a lot of time there, so it's probably a waste of wood, but it's at least lit in case I need to hide out. It's the day after Thanksgiving. It's a little early for ice on the river. We were going to do a floating Christmas tree, so I built a platform and got a disposable fake tree and some battery-powered lights, and it's all wired up, and they charge off of solar panels, and got a big weight and some long ropes, and the idea was to get it way out in the river and anchor it. If this doesn't melt off, then it looks like I should have done it earlier, because we are not going to get it through the ice. All right, though. I have that fuel mixing. It's either going to start or it's not. I do have the torch with me in case I need to warm the block up. The battery, I had it on a solar paneled battery maintainer, so forward thinking on me, and also, hey, cool, nobody stole it. Well, it sat there all summer long. But we'll go up and get the truck started. Again, it's a skiff of snow, and the dirt is right underneath of it, so maybe it'll chew through it, and we'll have no problems with the dump truck. I'm suspecting we'll have problems with the dump truck, and I kind of wonder if I should just chain it up anyways, just cuz. But for the moment, let me see if I can get the dump truck started. I'm sure it'll start. It runs pretty good. At least 7 cylinders do. And the excavator, and I know it'll start. I can begin moving some of that that rock this morning. So this is the stuff. There's the house hole. You know, I would like to grab the stuff that hangs over the house hole, and then I've got all of this. I don't exactly know why they tore it up and then left it, but it seems to be softer and more crumbly than the rest of the stuff. So that's kind of my assumption, which is perfect. It's perfect for my purposes. And I hope to sit right here and back the dump truck up and load it. It kind of stinks because, I mean, the rock crusher's right down there. I could just throw it over the edge and then spoon it over, but that's the fiber optic bundle right there. And yeah, we all know there'd be a slip, something would go wrong, misjudge the distance, and then I have to pay to have the fiber optic hooked back up for this end of the county. And I don't want to do that. Alright, so once I get enough of this out of here and stockpiled down there for rock crushing, then I can come up and move dirt, right? Because we don't want to move and mix this dirt here with the driveway rock, because it just turns into a mess, and you might as well keep it driveway rock, and then I'll cover it with crushed. So the stuff where it's all churned up together, okay, fine, that'll go over the edge. My goal, by the way, is more than just making it slippery. I would like to have nothing in there for bushes and weeds and stuff to grow in. I know that dream's already dead though, so I'm not sure why I'm still fighting it so much, but that's my goal, is I just wanted a bare rock edge. I didn't have to climb up and down and weed or anything, because you got to remove your noxious weeds in Montana. But anyways, I could get all this, but once I start on that hole, then it'll be harder to drive around it, so I figured, what the heck. Additionally, I don't know how deep to remove that dirt, simply because I can't run the builder's transit by myself. I haven't taken any measurements, but I know it's got to go down at least 2.5, 3 feet. I figured I'd start there and clean off all of this and just find out where underneath there the other hidden veins of rock might lie, because I think we kind of all know there's some more down there someplace.
Wow, it really goes to show just how much material is ripped up and laying on that hill. There's a staggering amount of material loose up there. That oddly wiener-shaped pile is my stuff. I can't get too much farther out or I'll end up blocking my road because I run the backhoe down and underneath the back, and then I'll run out and dump it. And I couldn't get any piled near the rock crusher because this dump truck's just not as maneuverable. Speaking of that, you know how sketchy it is to be sitting up there and look down where the dump truck is and watch it slowly start to roll on its own. So she was creeping once I got close to full. I just can't have that. I dropped the bucket into it, but I just can't have that working here by myself. We're gonna call it good enough. So here is the point, right, the forwardmost point of the 30 by 50, and that rock standing up is the other one so that I can visualize a line between them. So I'm going to begin scratching and scraping, and I'll get all this stuff out and stacked in the truck. If it's coming up mostly dirt, I got a spot down below, I'll stick it. If it's coming up mostly rock, I'll add it to my spot over there. So that's what I'm going to do now. Well, as you can see, I'm being visited by the ghost of Christmas presents here. There's the outline of the hole. I'm not going more than about, I don't know, 2.5 feet deep, because I don't know how deep the footers will be. I've discovered a fair bit of rock, which will be right there, sort of in the center. Oh, my guess is the crawl space will get a little sparse right in the middle, but nonetheless, we'll be able to go over the top of it, I think. The dump truck is no longer doing fine going up and down the hill. So I have to decide, do I dump dirt where I don't want it, or do I go down and fight chains on it and then start ripping the hell out of the road? I mean, it's not going to be, we're just not going to be able to move dirt much longer. The dump truck's not going to move around with 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground, chained or not. Nor would I be able to do any real work, I don't think. This is early for us. And it'll probably melt off here in a bit, in a day or two, 3, a week, something like that. So I suspect what I'm going to do is just, this is the last load that is very pure dirt. And it's because I've been avoiding the rocky spots and sort of picking them out and setting them aside. But maybe now I just won't worry about it, and I'll just, I'll just do it and keep loading the truck and just keep dumping it rather than going fighting chains on it. I mean, if I had fought chains on it this morning, we'd be done by now, but then I wouldn't have moved all that rock. Everything has a consequence, I suppose. Well, there it is. There's the house hole. That bit right there is unfortunately a big old ledge of rock that comes within an inch or two of the surface. Crap. I didn't want to break this up. I don't know how far down the rock shelf goes. That, what am I looking at? Right there. That's rock. That dark bit. That's all rock right there. So it's not too far down. It might just be better to go all the way down to rock on all of it and pin it in place. Maybe another couple of feet right through here. There's the house hole. I have not overdug the edges as far as accounting for the foundation. That's unfortunately a rock right over there too. I've not overdug the edges to account for the foundation or anything like that. It's just a more or less eyeballed straight line. But there she is. Moved a bunch of dirt. I did not stop to chain the thing up. I just put the dirt back against that hillside and then flattened it out. And I put a bunch of it over here and flattened it out, so both areas are bigger now. I think what I'm going to try to do, my hands are just freezing, my feet are freezing. The temperature must be, the temps have just got to continue going down. It is ugly cold, but there's no wind right now. So what I'm going to try to do, it's super inefficient, but I'm going to leave the machine running and I'm going to shovel, try to clear out near the areas where the foundation would actually go. It's probably a mistake simply because I didn't make them quite wide enough yet, but you know, anything I can clean out of the center of the hole is just, I guess it's just less mess under the house. I suppose that doesn't amount to much of anything. Alright, well, I'm going to at least unbury this section here and try to get an idea of what the hell is going on with this chunk of rock, because that one still might have to be blasted again. And I don't know, maybe the work will warm me up. Well, for reasons I'll explain later, I can't drill and blast right now. But I thought I could probably pick that rock ledge out. It seemed pretty crumbly, and it had been drilled and blasted once before. And you'll notice I was pretty successful, except for one part. I think I'm going to go home for the night.